سلام دوستان گرامی، حیات رحمی هستم. امروز تاریخ 1 ماه اکتبر سال 2021 است که دولت استرالیا اعلام کرد که در ماه آینده یعنی ماه نوامبر سال 2021 پروازهای بین المللی برای مسافرین بین المللی و همچنان شهروندان استرالیا باز خواهد شد. این در واقع یک ماه قبل تر از آن چیزی که وعده شده بود به اجرا گذاشته می شود، چون تعداد کسانی که واکسین زده‌اند افزایش یافته و وعده شده بود که زمانی که ایالت‌های استرالیا حداقل یک دوز واکسین را زده باشند که یعنی 80% از شهروندان یک دوز واکسین را زده باشند میتونه پروازها را باز بکنه، که بسیاری از این ایالت‌ها نزدیک به حساب هدف رسیده، مثل نیو ساوت ولز شاید اولین ایالتی باشه که از مسافرین بین المللی استقبال خواهد کرد و بعد از او احتمالاً ملبورن یا شهرهای دیگر خواهد بود. پس هر ایالت احتمال داره که مختلف باشه تاریخ شروع از یکی کی از مسافرین بین المللی استقبال میکنه، یعنی بستگی داره که کدام ایالت زودتر به 80% میرسه. پس چیزی که پیش بینی شده ماه آینده که پروازها باز میشه و آقای اسکات موریسن نخست وزیر استرالیا اعلام کردن که کسانی که هر دو دوز واکسین را زده باشن میتونن که از استرالیا خارج شن و همچنان داخل استرالیا شوند، که ایشان گفتن که شهروندان استرالیایی و کسانی که ویزای دائم استرالیا رو دارن میتونن در صورتی که هر دو دوز واکسین زده باشن 7 روز در خانه بعد از اینکه به حساب از مسافرت برگشت در خانه قرنطین بکنن، و کسانی که به حساب واکسینشان شناخته نشده از نگاه بین المللی و کسایی هستند که غیر از مثلا کسایی که ویزای دائم دارن شهروندان استرالیا هستند، اونا 14 روز در هتل باید قرنطین بکنن. پس چیزی که مهم است اینه که باید هر دو دوز واکسین زده باشن و همچنان واکسینشان از نگاه بین المللی شناخته شده باشد، که کسانی که مسافرت میکنند این موضوع را باید مد نظر داشته باشن. و همچنان آقای اسکات موریسن گفتن که برای شهروندان استرالیا در واقع سرتیفیکیت یا گواهینامه صادر میشه برای کسایی که هر دو دوز زده که او از نگاه بین المللی یعنی قابل شناخت باشد زمانی که به حساب اونا سفر میکنن از نگاه هوانوردی و در مسافرت های بین المللی شناخته شود که اینا هر دو دوز زدن و واکسینشان هم از نگاه بین المللی شناخته شده. پس میتونه خبری خوبی باشه برای کسایی که یعنی تقریبا نزدیک به 2 سال شد که منتظری ای بودن که به حساب چون مرزها بسته بود و نمیتونستن مسافرت کنن، پروازها در دسترس نبود. امیدوارم که با این مشکل بسیاری از کسانی که میخواستن از استرالیا خارج شون و یا به استرالیا سفر بکنن حل شود و معلومات بیشتر در روزها و هفته های بعدی خواهد آمد و روشن خواهیم شد. ما امیدوارستم تا این حدی از معلومات مورد توجه دوستان قرار گرفته باشد. در ادامه توجه شما را جلب میکنیم به بخشی از گفتگوی آقای اسکات موریسن که با رسانه‌ها امروز داشتن در مورد این موضوع، و تا دیدار دیگر و ویدیوی دیگر بدرود.
Will be time very soon that we will be able to open those international borders again, and that will enable Australians who are fully vaccinated and Australians and residents of Australia who are overseas who are fully vaccinated to be able to travel again and to be able to lift those caps on our airports in states where they have moved into phase C of the program. And that is where Australia is now preparing to move. This will happen next month. That's when it'll start happening from next month. As states move into those 80% vaccination rates, we have already got the technology and the other things in place that will support those states being able, under Phase C of the plan, to enable their residents and citizens to leave the country and return, and also those residents and Australians who are overseas to return to Australia as if they are vaccinated, with uncapped restrictions on their arrival in those states which have moved into that phase. So let me explain that a little more. What needs to happen for that to occur? To reopen safely and to stay safely open under our national plan. Firstly, we need home quarantine pilots in New South Wales and South Australia to conclude and be successful so they can be rolled out at scale. That's 7-day home quarantine for Australian citizens and permanent residents fully vaccinated with a vaccine approved for use in Australia or recognised by the TGA, and 14-day managed quarantine for anyone not vaccinated or vaccinated with a vaccine not approved or recognised by the TGA. So as I said in the national plan, we will move to a phase where there'll be caps lifted if you're vaccinated, caps will remain for non-vaccinated, and there will be the managed quarantine process for those 14 days. We're also offering facilitated commercial flights for Australians overseas into states and territories that agree to commence those home quarantine trials, and I look forward to discussing that further with my colleagues this afternoon. Once changes are made in November, the current overseas travel restrictions related to COVID-19 will be removed, and Australians in those states will be able to travel, as I've said, and we'll be working towards complete quarantine-free travel for certain countries such as New Zealand when it is safe to do so. Thirdly, Australians who want to travel overseas, once restrictions are removed, will be able to access an internationally recognised proof of vaccination document. That'll be in the coming weeks to prove their vaccination status abroad, and that proof of vaccination for international travel will include a QR code that is readable globally. It works in with the ICAO systems that are used all around the world. Fourth, in addition to the 4 COVID-19 vaccines that have also been approved and registered for use by the TGA has also been reviewing other vaccines in widespread use around the world. And today the TGA has published its initial assessment of 2 other vaccines and has advised that these vaccines should be approved as recognised vaccines for the purpose of determining incoming international travellers. Those vaccines are Sinovac and COVID Shield. They will be particularly important for those coming from countries where those vaccines are being used. India is an obvious one of those, as is China and other countries throughout Southeast Asia. That will be important also when we move to the phase, which I believe will be occurring next year in some states, particularly in my discussions with New South Wales, where those students, skilled migrants, and perhaps sooner will be able to come into the country and have those vaccines recognised as we move forward. So this is an important next step in the national plan. This is set out in the national plan. No surprises here. This is what we agreed to do, that we said to Australians, we get to 80%, you can leave the country and you can come back again. If you're overseas, you should be able to come back if you're a fully vaccinated Australian resident or citizen. I'm going to keep the deal with Australians when it comes to the national plan. I'm going to keep the deal which said you go and get vaccinated, and we're going to ensure that the many liberties and opportunities that you have will be restored. It is a great and terrible thing that they have had to be taken away because of the pandemic. We've all understood it, we've all worked through it, we've all suffered through it. But the time has come to give Australians their life back. We're getting ready for that, and Australia will be ready for takeoff very soon.